Let me make sure I am live. Let's see. Come on, Substack, pick up the stream. I do need to hit record as well. Today I am talking about how do I plan my content, and so I wanted to make this live stream really focused on the knowledge management aspect. And so, okay, cool. I got it pulled up here. Okay, it is working. Just wanted to make sure the audio was going there. And right off the bat, I'm just going to jump right in. For those of you who are watching the replay, you'll probably get the best out of this. For those people who are joining in later, I'll have to kind of show this again later. Let me switch to the screen share here. So this is Obsidian. There's a lot going on here, and it doesn't actually have to be this complicated. However, I wanted to show you what a pro uses for this. And this is blank because I took it all out to actually work on it on the actual post itself. But this is my version of Obsidian. There's a lot, like I said, going on. However, it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. And I'm actually underutilizing a lot of features too. So starting from the left here, you have the file tree. I have some bookmarks. Then you have tabs at the top. And so I have like my interview person that I'm going to get done today. I'm going to release that. I have my to-do list, which honestly, I don't normally do to-do lists, but I was just like, I really need to actually just write down all the stuff I need to work on. I have the book that I'm trying to write for exercise, not swimming, but I have a swim book too that I need to finish. And then here's the post that I'm going to be working on next. This is going to be my paid post, the first paid post on this Substack. And I wanted to basically, let me just double check there's no one in the stream. I need to bring out my secondary camera. And okay, no one's in here. Just wanted to make sure. And so I needed to make a post that I felt would be worthwhile for the paid subscribers. Now, like, admittedly, the videos, most of the videos that are going to be in this particular post is going to be ones free on my channel. So you can go on the channel and go watch them. But since I posted them earlier this year, some people probably wouldn't go back and watch them. Despite the fact they're pretty evergreen, the topics on them are very prudent. And I worked really hard on making those videos. So I wanted to make kind of like a mini course of that mini series on this post. And then I'm going to write different mini posts underneath each video explaining the topics more. And then I'm going to make another video on top of that at the top that is mainly like, here is for this particular like post. And I'm not even going to post that one to YouTube at all. It's going to be exclusive to Substack. And so it's going to be a post going over all the topics, and then each video will be individual. So it's going to be pretty, I think, actually useful. That's what that bonus is the actual new video that I'm making. And then now Obsidian actually has Obsidian bases. So let me find the thing right here. And so essentially there's two views. There's the card view, which is what you can see over here, and then there's the table view. I can wait for a calendar or Kanban view. The Kanban plugin actually stopped working on me properly recently, and then I updated, and the Obsidian basis is now public, so which is great. So essentially that's what it looks like if you want to know what the database looks like in Obsidian. There's a few properties here and there, but it's not as intuitive as Notion just yet. But I think that it's way better than any of the project management plugins that were in Obsidian before. Now, as I said, this is the card view, and I literally just wanted to just have this permanently up because I want to post all these as soon as possible, and I did not mean to go ahead and admit what I'm going to be creating next first, but I don't know if anyone's even in here yet. So yeah, I don't think anyone's really particularly watching, so we're good. But essentially, this is what I'm planning on making. So you're getting all the titles ahead of time. Cool. And let me see. So on here, I was able to create a number for each one, and that's how I sorted them. So I just sorted them by number. I basically chose which one I want to go first, and that's what I did. That's literally all I did. And then on here is a view, and again, it's sorted. I had to do it twice for both views, but basically I'm sorting through which number. So I'm going to be doing this post probably as soon as possible. As soon as I get the interview done and this live stream done, I'm probably working on this first post. First 100 reps to 100 posts a day. And that's probably going to go out tomorrow or the next day. And I have a lot of ideas here. I'm trying to make sure I have them organized and in order so I can execute more effectively over the course of time. And then I have my calendar over here, which is the journals plugin, which is particularly, I wanted to specify it's that one because there is a few different plugins that cause you to have this little, I'm trying to just do that, calendar, but this is the only one where I can click on any date, any of the dates, any of the weeks, the month, the quarter, or the year, and create a specific note for that time level. And that's what my system is actually based off of, is the, like, you have the yearly, the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, the daily. And that's what my system is actually like built around, all the different time levels. And this is meant for polymathic people. And if you're interested in this, my other channel talks about the PIOS system, which is what I created here. If you're interested in that, please leave a comment. I'll send you the link. But essentially, that's what that is all about. And then from there, I have my day planner, which doesn't really have a whole lot going on today. Like, it looks pretty blank, but it's because I'm filling in those blanks with deep work hours, and I just didn't put that on my calendar. And so, yeah, really that's what that's all about. I do have to kind of move it over, I think, to the right day, but ideally it'll just automatically do it on its own. So I'm going to switch back to the face cam here. And right now I'm using Meld Studio, so that nice little animation you saw is from Meld. So this system that I created allows me to plan out my content ahead of time really effectively and actually reach a higher output. And that's why I was like, I'm thinking, like, what do I want to talk about on the live stream today? This. I want to talk about this because this is an insane way of organizing. And this is actually pretty simple, I guess. It's not the most insane thing I've done. But it's the insane amount of content that I want to produce, because I didn't even get into my other brands and my other blogs. On my main blog, on my Ghost CMS blog, polyinnovator.space, that's supposed to be my main endeavor, but right now I'm putting like all my effort into the content polymath right now. But I have the PolyTools Digest, which is the precursor to this brand. And the reason why I didn't actually, stop doing that is because I still had a lot of tools that I wanted to talk about. And I don't necessarily want to put them on this Substack. I'm going to write some posts about tools and like what's the best tools for creators. But I basically had, 1,000 tools, 30 different categories on my directory website. And while I had to take down that website, I had an idea of how to market that website. And I was basically going to make a whole bunch of posts, one for each category. Here's the top 3, top 5, top 10 tools, depending on which category. Like, I would choose one of those 3 ratios. And I would make a post about why I think these are the top tools in that category. And I still want to make those. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a matter of building up the reputation for content repurposing and content creation. And so I had about like 30 30 tools and platforms posts that I wanted to make and that I'm going to make. In fact, I was really trying to get around to it this week. You probably saw my to-do list. And then I have my polymathy newsletter too, which is supposed to be one of my main things I'm doing. But for some reason, over the course of the summer, I just have not really put much effort into it. But with that, I actually have another idea. And I'm telling you this as a content creator because the way I'm approaching that series is different. Because what I had done before was just, and what I'm going to do again eventually, is I have a ton of ideas. I want to make posts about those ideas. It's what I'm doing right now for the content polymath, but it's a different execution. And the way I make the post is different too, even. Every newsletter actually that I do, I make differently, which is interesting. That's something I should probably make the next live stream about. But the content polymath newsletter is all about content creation and here's how to be a creator. Cool. The Polymath Wiki, which is all about being multidisciplinary, living a polymathic life. That one, I made a lot of posts about like the hourglass analogy, like which is basically juggling versus serialized, and how do you approach life, how do you manage all these different phases and areas of focus, that kind of thing. And I was making a lot of posts from scratch because there was a lot of unique ideas that I wanted to create. But I saw so many other creators make these cool videos about being a multi-potentialite, being a generalist, being a jack of all trades, being like someone who's polymathic or a digital polymath. So many different keywords and so many different posts and pools of people that I wanted to be like, hey, first off, I want to highlight that creator. And I might even do something similar for the content brand too, which is why I have the creator interviews too, because I want to highlight that creator. But with the Polymath Wiki, I had like 20, 30, 40 videos that I was like, I want to make posts about that video of me responding to the topics in the video, highlighting the video itself at the top, so that way people can find that video more. So the ideas that I want to share are also getting shared, because basically I'm not the only creator in that niche. I don't need to be the only creator in that niche. In fact, I should build up all the other creators in the niche, because then we all get built up. That's a kind of a Gary Vee philosophy a little bit, but I think there's too much competition in people's minds when in actuality, it's like when there's two coffee shops on the same block, they both succeed more because that becomes now the coffee block rather than, oh, Starbucks is here and let's say some local coffee shop is there. You would think they're competing a lot, and technically they are, but in reality, because they're both there, it attracts more customers. So they both end up succeeding more. It's a win-win. And that's how I've approached a lot of my content creation and interviews and really collaborations, because I was like, this is a one-way collaboration. I want to highlight that person, but then down the line, that person, if I don't send it to them, will probably see the post. They'll be feeling seen. They'll feel accepted more. They'll be like, okay, this is a topic I need to talk about more. So they'll go ahead and do that. They'll see me. They'll find my content. They'll resonate with it. They become a fan. And if they don't become a fan, they'll at least be like, hey, this person's cool. I want to talk to them more. And then I can have them on my show. So it's a win-win. We all get to share the intention. And that's how I'm planning my content going forward for that newsletter. That's why I'm talking about it right now, because it's so fascinating how like three-dimensional that one series can be. That newsletter is beneficial to the reader because I'm going to be talking about some cool videos, and these videos already break down things in a unique way. Each video is different. Some of them are a little bit similar, but they're all basically different things and different approaches and different mindsets. And then I get to reply to it, and sometimes I'll agree, sometimes I won't agree with the person's take on it, but that's kind of the interesting part of the newsletter. So the person reading the newsletter get a benefit from it. And so that's how I'm planning out the content ahead of time. I had basically made a whole bunch of drafts. I hate having drafts in my blogs, which is just like a little quirk. I just can't stand it. I know some people love living in drafts. I'd rather have my drafts in my Obsidian so I can keep track of it better. If they're drafts in my Ghost or Substack, then it's kind of harder to keep track of. But now I have like 25 still of the tools posts. I have 30-ish so of the polymathy posts, and I have a few other drafts in there for like mini courses and stuff like that. And so I have all these drafts that I've been sitting on for months. And so like I need to execute on that. And now that I'm finally getting into content creation at a higher level again, because it is a skill and it is kind of like a habit, like working out. And so I'm planning on creating more content than ever before, despite the fact I'm not doing more, essentially. I'm just like executing on the stuff that I've been planning for so long. That's kind of the difference there. So I'm planning ahead of time, and I'm trying to execute by batching and by creating baselines or drafts. So basically I already created an outline for each of these posts. I put the video in there already. I have the title. I already made the thumbnails for the polymathy post at least. The content polymath one, I literally just have the ideas. That's all. But that's all I really need for something like this. I've been talking off the cuff for the last, 30 minutes. And yeah, oh no, 12 minutes. But the point is, it felt like 30 minutes. And so this video that I'm making today, this live stream, is, I'm doing it one-off. There's no chat today. I posted people to come in. I was like, hey, come in and chat with me so we can talk about stuff. But people aren't going to yet. That's fine. But I need the practice of live streaming. And so this way, I can create some cool clips and post those out. And people will be like, oh, that seems fun. Let me join it later on. So there's this planning that I'm doing and executing at the same time. All of this is not to say like I'm boasting or ego or anything like that. I just wanted to share with you what I'm doing. I'm trying to be as like open as possible about it, because how I create content is different than how a lot of people create content. And I also really am obsessed with just creating more and more and more content, especially if I can do it well. I don't want to make just crap content, but I want to make as much possible content at a good level. Like I'm not going to go past the 80% and the last 20% is crap. I'm not going to do the crap content, but I want to try to make sure I reach that 80% every time. And that is the goal of what the Content Polymath is about. I want to reach as many people as possible where they're at. So going to the platform where they're at. I also want to make the content in the format that they consume in. And so by planning out ahead of time, you can plan out your live streams into videos, into podcasts, into blog posts, then into micro content. And so really, I don't think I need to go too much deeper into that. Let me see what else I'm talking about on my Obsidian here. So I'm looking at my database here, and as I'm scrolling through, I situated different pieces, and I don't want to share the screen just yet, but I situated different parts because I thought, okay, this is more important, this is less important. And this is what we need to do. We need to think about our content objectively. if you want to do a sprint or something like that, or even worse, like a blitz, which I was talking to Salma Jeffrey, I think is her name, on Threads the other day about a content blitz. Content blitzes are not necessarily common knowledge or really like a thing, but me and her created the idea. And I think there might have been someone before us, but I haven't seen much about it. But a blitz is like multiple sprints in one. And I think that's a fascinating idea. But you can only do something like that if you have a high level in content as a skill. And so planning your content ahead of time is something I've been doing since the very beginning. In fact, I overplanned, I overdid things. And if you're that type of person where you like to think in systems, you like to think like, okay, I can do this, this, and this, and this. And then you get to the execution point and you just don't do it. That's what happened to me back in 2018, 2019, 2020. I had plans for my Omni content series that I wanted to do. I had plans for my interviews that I was trying to do, and I was sort of successful. I had plans for my other solo content that I wanted to do, let alone the social media platforms. I had like 4 different ideas for Instagram series that theoretically probably would have worked. But the thing is, actually executing on that and making sure they're interesting enough to your audience and not just spamming it out there, it's a whole other story. And then on top of that, something I've been talking about every single day is that you need to get to your first 100 reps. But the problem with that philosophy is 100 reps isn't enough. I hate saying that because like I know that I've been preaching it from the top of my lungs. 100 reps is not enough. If you want to plan your content ahead of time, you still kind of have to just do things off the cuff too. So the way I thought about my Omni content series was that it would give me a baseline. The reason why I didn't care so much about it being one niche, it wasn't one niche. It was like any topic is free game. The series is the strategy itself, which is fine, but that's one reason why I wasn't so successful, because people weren't following me for the niche, or for a niche, I mean. But my point is, I wanted to create that baseline layer of just consistently making content every day, and that's what I want to do again. And I'm not quite doing it yet, but I think what I might do is start treating these live streams as my video itself. Like I'm making a full-on video right now. I would probably post this to YouTube and be pretty happy about it, and I'm going to. But I'm saying like I'm going to be making that first 100 reps video I mentioned earlier manually, just recording, not live. And I think that what I should be doing more often is that if I'm just going to make it off the cuff anyways, I'm not going to be editing these videos. I don't like editing videos, and I'm not going to go out of my way to edit videos because that's just not who I am, especially since YouTube is also being very raw anyways. I should just start live streaming every day, use that as my video, and if people come in, that'd be great. Then I can have more content because I'll be talking to them. It kind of detracts from the video itself, but other people will benefit from it too. And then eventually I'll do like just separate creator coaching calls, but I need to be big enough for that. I need to be bigger so that people actually want to show up for it. But since right now no one knows about them, not many people are going to show up, and that's okay. But the thing is, I'm going to be doing these live streams for a while separately because first off, I need more reps. I need more video content. Every time I make one of these videos, I'm going to throw them into Opus Clip and make clips. So today, what I'm going to do is that I have a task I need to get done in 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes, I'm going to start the task, and that comes higher priority. Then I need to finish editing the video. But what I'm going to do is the video is already run through Opus. So the interview I did is already run through Opus. I'm going to go through all those clips, find the best ones, start posting those first, because I already have about 15 clips from one of my previous live streams, and now including this video, I have 4 videos to run through Opus. I'm probably going to get another 50 clips, 60 clips from those 4 videos, and then I'm going to get 20 clips from the interview, post those 20 clips, well, not all at once, obviously, schedule those 20 clips, schedule the 15 clips I have already, and then I'm going to run all those other videos through Opus and get those other 60 clips, and now for the next 7 days, I'm going to have 10 clips a day going to TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Blue Sky. And so I'm posting to 8 different platforms. I guess 8. I don't know. I didn't count. 8 different platforms, 10 times a day, and that's already 80 posts right there. So the next post I'm going to be making, and this is kind of me teasing it, like I mentioned, is the first 100 reps to 100 posts a day. Reps and posts are not the same thing, technically. I mean, they are, but they're not. The first 100 reps is in regards to your skill. Videos, audio, written posts, social media posts, short form videos, live streams. Those are your reps. You need to get to 100 reps to really start getting good at that skill. But once you get good at those different skills, then it becomes a lot easier for you to get to that 100 posts a day. People keep hearing Gary Vee over the last 7 years scream in his keynotes, you need to be posting 100 times a day because it's free real estate. And like, for all you Viners out there. And so it's like, okay, how do you do that? Well, I'm trying to tell you how to do it. And that's what that post is about, where it's like, okay, you start to get good after 100 reps. Well, when are you good? Probably roughly around 250, 300 reps. But it's different for everybody, right? I'm being very average with my numbers here. I got really good with blogs around 100 reps, but with videos and podcasts, not as much. And so, like, I feel like I'm good at all three now. I mean, actually, I could probably get better at podcasts. I could be open about that. Podcasts, I don't always manage my audio level well. Sometimes my gain is off. Sometimes my equalization is not great. I try to make sure when I'm making my interviews, I balance out all the audio. But I'm a very, very simplified with editing. Like, I'm not going into Audition or even the Fairlight page on DaVinci Resolve to go in and fix the audio. I'm just not that good yet. And I don't think I will get good at that per se, not for a while. It's just not something I care that much about. As long as you can hear me and it doesn't hurt your ears, and the guest, that's good. So my point is, I think even after hundreds of reps with audio, I've really treated podcasts as a cut from videos rather than making podcasts by themselves. And so if I were to make podcasts from scratch, I've probably not even hit 100 yet, because I think I made around 18 on that one show, 12 around that one show, and then probably around 30 after combining everything together. So I've probably made close to 100 reps of just pure audio episodes, maybe more. Maybe I have a few hundred episodes, so on just one show alone. So maybe I'm better off. But most of my shows come from video first, and so I edit the video, make the audio sound good in the video, but then I just cut out the audio, which I think it's a separate kind of count. Right? If I'm making audio content from scratch versus repurposing it from a video, I think that's two different rep ranges. Now, I'm getting off topic here when it comes to how do I plan out my content, but that's okay. Essentially, though, the point I was trying to make is that each one of these skills is different. Once you get to a certain level or a certain number of reps, that's when you start getting good at it. And when you get good at it, it becomes easier to make. Once it becomes easier to make, you can make more of them. And it makes it easier for you to repurpose them too, because you know how to make short form content because you got good at doing short form content. So you know that if you're making a video, you know how to make good clips because you've already made enough actual raw short form videos. And from there, it becomes a lot easier to get to that 100 reps a day or 100 posts a day. And so that's why I really wanted to make this next post coming out, and I'm teasing it now. I'm not going to continue this live stream anymore. No one's coming in today, and I have some work to do. So today's a little bit shorter, but that's okay. Still going to make some great content, and I'm glad you're here. Cheers.